Hello and welcome to the Acceleration podcast. Today what we're going to do is we're going to try and solve a problem wherein, say you get a data dump periodically and you want to have some descriptive statistics for it, but you want to be able to enter those descriptive statistics very quickly. So you want just a formula that you can keep in Notepad or in an email that when you get these sheets, you just dump the formula in and it does everything you want. So here's how we're going to do that. Right here we've got our data table, and we've got some stuff that we're going to use to build that formula. Now once we've built the formula, we don't need this stuff anymore, but for right now we're going to leave it here, and you'll see why in a second. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you the working part of the formula, and this is how we're going to get these descriptive statistics. So we're going to use a function called subtotal. Equals subtotal. There we go. And what subtotal does is it actually performs a variety of different functions depending on what you enter for the first argument. So you can enter 1 through 11 and it'll do these, or you could do 101 through 111 and it'll do the same things, but if you enter these arguments, it will ignore hidden rows, which can be valuable if you want to, say, sort your table over here and have the new descriptive statistics reflect that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit escape first off, hit escape again. I'm going to highlight a region that is 1 row by 5 columns, which is the exact number of arguments I have for the different functions I want to have for this descriptive statistic. So now with this range highlighted, I'm going to hit equals subtotal, open parentheses, and rather than entering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or anything like that, I'm going to actually highlight this region right here. And what this is going to do is this is going to be an array function, because it's going to get a bunch of different options and it's going to do them one at a time. So next thing I'm going to do is highlight this region, and I'm going to hit F9 to evaluate it because I want to leave it hard-coded into the function. Okay, so now when subtotal runs, it's going to do not one function but all 5 of these things, one after the other, in a 1 row by 5 column array. That'll make more sense when you see it. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is it wants to know, okay, it knows what functions it needs to perform. It wants to know on what data set do I want to perform it. So I'm going to go Control-Shift down, Control backspace to get back where I was before. And so this is C8 through C39 is the data that's going to perform it on. Okay. So I'm going to hit Control-Shift-Enter because this is an array formula, and you need to hit Control-Shift-Enter to enter an array formula. And watch what happens. There we go. These are the different descriptive statistics that we need for this data set. Okay, but that's only part of what we need right now. What we'd really like is to have a single formula that we can copy and paste in and not have to add these headers ourselves. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do sort of the same thing, but rather than a 1 row by 5 column, I'm going to do a 2 row by 5 column. And this will make sense in a second. So I'm going to say equals if. Now I'm going to highlight this region right here, and it'll make sense what I'm doing in a second. I was going to try and explain it, but I think that's just going to be more confusing. So I'm going to say if that equals R1, it's a text string, then you should do this, and if it doesn't, then you should do what we did before. Subtotal. And Control backspace. Okay. Okay, now before I'm done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hard code some of these in here so that we can copy and paste this into any spreadsheet, and we won't need all this stuff here that we use to build the formula, so it's going to be hard coded into the formula. So right now it's looking at F10 through L11, which is this guy right here. And if I hit F9, what it's going to do is, rather than looking at a range, it's going to take the values in that range and it's going to convert it to an actual array constant, like so. Okay, that's great. And I'm going to do the same thing for right here. It's going to take this stuff right here, and rather than saying, hey, go look on the spreadsheet and find the values here and return those, it's just going to, I'm going to hit F9, and it's just going to have those values hard-coded as an array constant. This is an array constant that is 1 row by 5 columns. Okay, I'm going to move my little dialog box here. And the last thing I'm going to do is hardcode the argument in F9. Okay, now we should be good to go. I'm going to hit Control-Shift and then Enter. And now I've got a single formula that returns all of the descriptive statistics that I need. So if I take all this stuff here and delete it, it doesn't matter because all the information needed is right in here. And now I can, if I hit F2 right here, I could take this formula right here, I could copy and paste it into an email, into another spreadsheet, into Notepad, and anytime I get a problem like this, I can go ahead and just pull this up, and the only thing I have to change is this guy right here. So hit Control-Shift-Enter. The last thing I'm going to do is, oh good, I've already renamed it. So I've renamed this column cogs. So I'm going to go up here, and for my final trick, I'm going to change this from a range reference to a named range reference. Notice the little tag there, that means it's a named range. I'm going to hit Tab, and once again, Control-Shift-Enter. And now I can copy and paste this into my new worksheets that have that I'm trying to perform the same operation with, and rather than having to go in here and rename this range, all I have to do is in that sheet, if it's not done already, rename the column that I want to refer to, the one I want to perform the operation on, to column cogs. So I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions, please do let me know. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.